just pointing out moments ago. They just issued a tornado warning on that. That is until 7 o'clock. It's this portion of the storm right here, south of Highway 14 and along Highway 14, right between Owatonna and Claremont. This is just along Highway 218 and to the east side of that. So you see that little pendant right there on the radar picture, a little bit of a hook echo there. So that is a concern. So you need to be taking shelter right now in Steele County, just south of Highway 14, southwest of Claremont. We'll get another little perspective on this storm here as well. There's Claremont. You are looking at the hail core potentially in or just to the west side of Claremont. So that's getting very close to where the ethanol facility is right there in Claremont. And that hail core is the strongest portion of the storm. This is the more dangerous portion of the storm that is southwest of Claremont. So getting to between Highway 14 and 218 in Steele County, there is a tornado warning that is in effect until 7 o'clock. That's for about the next 9-10 minutes, so we're going to be keeping a very close eye on that. There's also a severe thunderstorm that's right on top of Lake City right now, pushing into Wabasha County, and that severe stretch of the storm stretching into parts of western Wisconsin. We put all of this into motion right now. There's that tornado warning right in Steele County. Dodge County, severe thunderstorm affecting you, and it will for about the next half hour to 45 minutes. And we do not have a warning in Olmsted County right now, but I'm almost certain coming up fairly soon we will have a warning for Olmsted County. So you're going to want to be getting ready to take shelter. We've just got plain old rain in Olmsted County right now, but we are going to continue to see that activity moving fairly quickly from west to east. So I'm going to back up a little bit here, go back to that storm that's in Steele County. There it is. That hook is still showing up on the radar picture. We'll continue to get some updated sweeps as the storm is moving along. Again, that tornado warning, it's a fairly short fuse one, but that is until 7 p.m. I'm going to go back to my computer. You guys stay on this, please. I'm just going to tap up the new warning that popped up and see what is going on with that one. So if we take a look right now at that latest warning, all right, there we are. It's near the community of Pratt, in between Pratt and Claremont in Steele County over into Dodge County. And I'm going to pull up the Cascade Lake camera and show you our perspective that we have right now from our Cascade Lake camera. And just a little while ago, we could have a better view on that south side of the storm. We're also getting a few raindrops on the lens right now. So I'm going to zoom in. This is the portion of the storm that is the most dangerous right there where we can see the rain-free base. Let me point out a couple things on this picture right now. The rain-free base is where we would see a tornado if there was one. So we've got the wall cloud right there stretching over to the south side of that storm. There is plenty of rain in between the rain-free base of that storm. This is the one that's in Steele County right now. This is the storm that's rotating a little bit. We're not seeing a lot of very large-scale rotation, but we are getting some of these spinning up. And one of the reasons why we're seeing that right now is because we have all these storms that are mixing in this environment where there's some outflow coming from one to another, and those low-level winds are coming together and causing some of this rotation in a few spots. So there it is in motion. We've got that storm that's in Wabasha County. I'm going to go back to this one, though. That is strengthening again. So, you know, heads up to you in Dodge County as well as this continues to move off to the east, even though the warning right now is until 7 o'clock for Steele County. The most dangerous portion of the storm is going to continue to move to the east, south of Highway 14 in Dodge County. Here we are in Dodge Center. You can expect to get some really gusty winds, some of that large hail moving in fairly soon. That warning is going to more than likely, at least a bare minimum, maintain as a severe thunderstorm warning for that. I'm going to go back to that last one here, show you what's going on there. So Steele County, you're now in the clear around Owatonna, but southeast of Owatonna with that storm that's making its way into Dodge County. That's a little bit more menacing. Stay on again. I'm going to go back to the computer here and move things around just a little bit to get a better perspective. I'm looking at the camera right now as well, and we are not getting a better view. But we did just get an updated warning, as I was just mentioning a moment ago, that is in Dodge County now, and that tornado warning is going to be in effect. Let me get the timing here on that very shortly. It's just loading up the image right now. But the tornado warning issued by La Crosse is in effect for Dodge County, and that is until 7:45 p.m. There's the wave right there. That's the warning. That warning is stretching down into the southwestern corner of Olmsted County. So from Claremont to Blooming Prairie, in between that location, that is where you want to be taking shelter right now as that storm continues to make its way from west to east. And scrolling up a little bit more, Pine Island, you've got some heavy rain right there, but so far that's a little bit below severe strength. But we are looking at Claremont right now being affected by what is more than likely the hail core of that storm. And here's the tornado warning. That's in effect mainly for the southern portion of Dodge County. That does skirt right by, Dodge Center, rather. You do want to be just hanging out in the basement, taking shelter. The tornado warning might not directly affect you, but that's what we have going on right now with that tornado warning. Again, that's in effect until 7:45 p.m. for Dodge and Olmsted County. So that storm, as it continues to move to the east, is showing signs of rotation. And let's go and take a look at the Cascade Lake camera. I'll pull that up here in just a second. We can get a view of what's going on there, and I'm going to move the camera around just a little bit, and we can see the south side of that storm. That's where we want to get a better perspective, and that's where the most dangerous portion of it being, of course, in situations like that where there is some rotation, these things become a little rain-wrapped. So from our perspective, it's difficult to see exactly what's going on the ground. We're not able to get any ground truth right now, and the warning is based on radar-indicated rotation. So again, radar-indicated rotation with that storm. I'm going to pull up the Broadway camera. We've got that also pointing that direction, and I can move that around a little bit to get a perspective on that. So, okay, just to brief you, if you're just tuning in right now, there is a tornado warning that's in effect for southwestern Olmsted County and southern Dodge County until 7:45. That could also have up to around ping pong ball size hail. All right, there's the Broadway camera. I'm going to turn that a little bit to the left and see if we can get a perspective from there as well, because from Rochester, we can see that portion of the storm where there is some radar-indicated rotation. And right now, let me get back in front of the camera to show you what I'm looking at, where we have all this coming down to the ground right there. This is rain-wrapped. We're not exactly seeing, so if there is a tornado on the ground, that's unconfirmed, but that's right about where it would be. You see right there where it's a touch darker, that's the base of the storm. That's where everything is going up into the supercell, and where there would be some rotation right there. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a good enough view because of the rain. Not because of anything we're doing wrong, but because of the rain, we're not able to get a perfect view right there. And I'm just checking to see if anyone is sending me any updates, but I'm not getting anything about this storm right here. There's the rain-free base. I'm going to go back to the radar picture and show you what's going on here with this warning. So that is a menacing cell right now, and it is of very much concern. We have that warning right now, a tornado warning in Dodge County. It has moved out of Steele County. The radar picture is going to come up here in just a little bit. My computer is doing a little bit of thinking about what it wants to do, but we're going to get that radar picture up here, and there we go. And now I'll just move it around. The tornado warning that was for Steele County, now the cell has actually made its way out of Steele County, south of Claremont, where we have that cell. I'm going to get back in front of the camera here, guys, and give you just a hands-on view of what I'm seeing here. So Claremont, there you are right there. There's a hail core right here, and then what I was showing you a little bit ago from our view on the tower cam, there's a view in High Forest Township. This is going to be affecting you eventually. If this holds together, it'll be traveling toward Hayfield. Heads up in Hayfield right now. You absolutely want to be getting into your safe place, get into a basement. This portion of the storm, we cannot confirm whether or not for sure there is a tornado. I don't want you standing on the front stoop to get an eyeball on it to see if there is one out there. Just play it safe as this portion of the storm is coming towards you in Hayfield, and it will continue to move off to the east-southeast. So then Hayfield, and we're looking at Oslo right about there, and moving right along Highway 30, moving toward the south side of Rockdale. That is a very concerning portion of the storm. Now, I'm going to go back and I'm going to pull up that sky cam again because it looks like we are getting a little bit better view now of what's going on from our Broadway Plaza tower cam. And I'm looking right over, let's see, we're looking over Mayo Clinic. I am just not seeing anything down to the ground, but again, you know, we've got a lot of rain coming down right now within this wave. So that's the concerning portion of the storm. Get back in front of the camera here. So when a supercell forms, when a thunderstorm like this forms, we get rotation, and it's right around the rain-free base of the storm, and you can see that right there. But what happens on the outside of that, as it's moving around a little bit, we get rain wrapped from the core, and it's a little gray right there. So this is the area of concern. Quick note, those of you in Hayfield, you want to be taking shelter as this comes your way because a tornado could form at any minute. Now, this is the wall cloud. This is the base of the storm. Now, there's a fair amount of rain between us and the storm. It looks a little ragged right there. There could be some activity on that side of the wall cloud. We could also be seeing something a little bit closer. Now, we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning. That severe thunderstorm warning, let's go back to that and show you what is going on. So bear with me for a second. I'm going to pull that radar picture back up, and we will get the very latest on any warnings around here. All right, so we have got reports of there's a wall cloud that's been spotted here, Buffalo City, Wisconsin. That's out of here. All right, train spotters 3 miles south of Dodge Center reported a funnel. They said they briefly touched down. So there, according to that, a funnel that touches down is a tornado, and then it lifted. But that could happen repeatedly. And we've got a couple modes that are concerning out of this. And when I say modes, I'm meaning it's just using a little weather jargon here. We're talking there's the potential of a tornado with this, and that's nearing Hayfield. There are also downburst winds. So when we have anything like this forming, we don't just have the area where there's some rotation. We have a lot coming down from these storms. Because keep in mind, thunderstorm forms, it's going up to around 45,000 feet, maybe about that high. And there's a lot of rain-cooled air that's coming down. And when it's coming down from that high, it's blasting down to the ground fairly quickly. And that can cause some of those damaging winds. So we've got some downburst potential within the storm. There is hail potential up to around maybe ping pong size to golf ball size hail. This is a very large cell right now that's over Dodge County. And we have the hail core that is currently just off to the west of Dodge Center, right along Highway 14 and then just south of Highway 14. So right where Highway 14 connects to Highway 56, there and to the south is where that hail core is right at this moment. We also have the...
Again, we don't know when someone's tuning in to us, so you will hear me repeat a lot of the information. So I'm sorry, but that is what we have to do here tonight. Unfortunately, we need the rainfall, and we don't want to see this type of weather by any means, but we do need the much-needed rain as we have, again, an extreme drought through portions of Olmsted and then getting into Dodge County here. But we do have that observed tornado, again, until 7:45 here tonight. So it's not a good situation to get that observed tag and to see this type of, I mean, we can... detection on that. I would assume that one has some pretty decent hail with it. It does look like it's probably close to about quarter-sized hail with that cell that'll eventually move into northern Iowa. So a pretty decent hail core there just south of Blue Earth, just south of the I-90. So we're looking at about quarter-sized hail with that one. So again, hail will be the primary threat. We do have that observed tornado, though, right now for southern Dodge and then getting into Olmsted County until 7:45 here tonight. As of now, nothing for the city of Rochester. No warning for the city of Rochester. See, we just popped on a couple more warnings for the just east of the Mississippi River, so that's into Wisconsin tonight. That looks like where the strongest wind would be at right now is, I know it looks like Winona's in that polygon, but that is for Wisconsin at this point in time. Sarah, just let me know too, since I don't have the NWS chat up. Yep. Every time they issue a warning, you can just butt into the conversation here. Okay. But just kind of let me know what they're warning things for, whether that's a 60-mile or maybe 70-mile-per-hour wind, or if you see something that's like, 75-mile-per-hour wind gusts with a certain cell, make sure to kind of cut me off a little bit.
Absolutely.
And just let me know. Let's zoom into Rochester here. So we're starting to get some thunderstorm activity moving into western Olmsted County, so near about Byron at this this point in time. Let's get lightning on there too. So the cluster of lightning is a good indication of where the storm is the strongest at, and again where we have the biggest cluster of lightning, right through that polygon at this point in time. So again, let's get another. We've had a couple more scans since I last looked at velocity with this one. We got to change it back to the other radar here. There we go. So right near Hayfield, so moving just through Hayfield is where we would have the rotation. I will say, through the past couple different scans, it looks better in terms of its weakening. The rotation a lot more broad at this point in time. So when we're talking about broad, it's kind of evening out a little bit more. It's not super tight. It's not a tight couplet. So that's good news. It's right along 30 here. So I'd still be in your safe place. Again, it's still tagged as observed. So a trained spotter observed what would be a tornado. So we'll keep an eye on that. It is still observed as or it's still tagged as observed. But most of the rotation would be more or less moving now to the east here if we match that up with reflectivity here, which would be showing us rain. Most of that is just now to the east of Hayfield. So now we got to look downstream, right? So even Rockdale, Pleasant Valley towards Stewartville, getting into Olmsted County. If you're on the county line here between Dodge and Olmsted in the far southwestern corner of Olmsted County, you'll want to head to your safe place here as we still have that tornado warning that's in effect until 7:45 here tonight. The city of Rochester not under any type of warning. Currently, we just have some rainfall starting to move in. And that's good news for the city of Rochester, right? It looks like we get some rain and potentially miss out on the really heavy wind and then the tornadic threat staying just down to the southwest of the metro here tonight. But eventually, this will move in. I'll put this in motion so we can I know I've had radar paused for the real-time aspect of it, but I can kind of put this in motion here through the last 30 minutes so we can kind of get an idea of how these storms are moving. And this will eventually continue to move it's not due east, but it's pretty close to being due east at this point in time. So the strongest portion of the cell is where that observed tornado is at. That will continue. Watch it continues to move just down to the east-southeast. So eventually close to that 63 marker is where the strongest precipitation would be at through probably the next 20 to 30 minutes. Here in Rochester, we will continue to pick up some much-needed rainfall, but it does look like the strongest portions of some of these isolated strong thunderstorms will stay just west and then just due east through about Plainview and eventually into St. Charles here tonight. Let's take a look.
Hey, Nick.
Sure thing.
I am seeing a message from our Olmsted County Emergency Management,
Sure.
John. He is saying that they did have spotters out and confirmed that tornado on the ground between Dodge Center and Hayfield. He said that the funnel went back up, but National Weather Service is reporting a potentially rain-wrapped tornado 3 miles northeast of Hayfield.
When was that report?
He sent this message at 7:13, so just 4 minutes ago.
Okay. So they confirmed that it was on the ground?
They did, yes.
Okay. So confirmed on the ground then from the EMS in Olmsted County, right?
Correct.
Okay. So that's why we have our polygons change from red to pink then when something is observed and potentially reaching down to the ground. So there we're getting real-time information from the EMS here in Olmsted County, and where we would have that rotation at would be just east now of Hayfield. So Rockdale, I know you're not on the polygon, but we're not too sure if this is moving still right down to the east-southeast or moving east. Let's back this up just a little bit. So where this was the strongest at would have been about right here, right through about Hayfield, and it is moving just down to the southeast of Rockdale. I'd be concerned, I guess it's a little harder for you to see because I'm standing in front of it, but into about Pleasant Valley, I'd head to your safe place here because that rotation is moving down to the east-southeast here tonight. Let's get radar back up and look at some stuff here. So we have that warning We still have warnings along the Mississippi River Valley, and they haven't extended this secondary warning down into northern Iowa yet. If you're tuning into us in northern Iowa, you might see some rainfall towards about Mitchell County, towards Osage, and maybe into Worth County here tonight. So if you're in Mason City looking off to the north, you can probably see some lightning, maybe hear some thunder. This is the one strong cell that will eventually move down into northern Iowa. I do see another cell that is warned, severe warn, just north of Owatonna. So this is getting into pretty close to Rice County. Not warned in Rice County, but eventually that storm moving down to the east-southeast. So Steele County might have another cell that'll move through with maybe some heavy rainfall and some hail on that one too. Let's switch over to hail detection farther down to the southeast. So they did not extend the tornado warning, but they extended the severe thunderstorm warning farther to the south here tonight. And let's see if I can get some information for you on that. So that severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for Mower and Fillmore counties until 8:30 here tonight. They have it located just 8 miles northwest of Grand Meadow, so that'll move through. We're talking about 60-mile-per-hour wind and close to quarter-sized hail. They do not have that tagged at this point in time, at least with the information that I'm reading, with tornado possible. So Sarah, can you check on that one for me? The
Yes.
one that will be for Mower and portions of Fillmore County, and just see if the National Weather Service tagged that for tornado possible with that severe thunderstorm warning. I don't see that in my rundown in the
Okay.
weather computer, but I just want to make sure.
No, there is no tornado possible with this one at all, but it is warned for 1-inch hail, so quarter size in diameter, and 60-mile-per-hour winds.
Okay, so that, yeah.
And one other thing, Nick, I
Sure.
do have a viewer photo from Rockdell.
Okay, perfect.
I'm going to put it into viewer photo 1, so just give me a minute
Sure.
and I will have that in there for you.
Sure, thank you, perfect. Yeah, just let me know when you get that. So what we're looking at is right through Racine, Pleasant Valley, Sumner, and then pretty close to Stewartville here, some pretty heavy rainfall. You can see right behind me some heavy rain taking place there. I want to flip over to velocity. So they didn't extend the tornado warning. And remember what I was concerned about was when we reached that, lack for a better word, dead zone between the two different radars, right? It starts to get a lot more cluttered. We can see how cluttered it is, right? We have all of a sudden this purple on here because we're in between the two different radar sites. So I can't get a really good reading of where we would potentially see rotation at, but notice I'm not surprised they didn't extend that warning. There might be some rotation close to Rockdell, maybe just south of Rockdell, but I don't think they're going to end up extending this at this point in time. You can kind of see right here some brighter green, but then we get into that region where we're right between those two radar sites, so we don't get a really good scan here in terms of our velocity. So we'll have to see what the National Weather Service ends up doing. If I zoom out a little farther, we can kind of see the bright green on that side of the purple and this side of the purple. So there might be some broad rotation right south of Rockdell. That would be where the polygon would still be at.
And that photo is ready for you, Nick.
Okay. So they shaved off the warning. So Dodge County not under a warning at this point in time in terms of that tornado warning. Still observed, though, they kept it in effect for the southwestern corner there of Olmsted County. Let's check in on this viewer photo. This was from Teagan in Rockdell. And just kind of looking at this in real time, let's see here. There might be, let me slide my computer over just a little bit so we can kind of look at this here. Might have been some lowering maybe back towards this region, but I'm not too convinced that would be anything that would be reaching down to the ground at this point in time. When was this sent to us, Sarah?
This was sent to us at 7:23. Okay. So right around 7:20.
Right.
Teagan sending that one.
So just looking at that, the other viewer photo that we had earlier would have been a better indication of maybe something reaching closer down to the ground. But we'll keep a close eye on everything that we're kind of seeing here as that cell moves into the far southwestern corner there of Olmsted County. Sarah, have you seen any other new warnings here that we have tonight? Other than the mower and, well, we do have one in Freeborn County now.
Okay, I was just going to say, it looks like our severe thunderstorm warning for Dodge County has been allowed to expire. Yep, and then, let's see here, the one just off to our west in Faribault County, that's been allowed to expire. But there is a new one as of 2 minutes ago for parts of Faribault and Freeborn County. And that one goes until 8:15, and that storm is warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds and half dollar size hail. Yep.
Yeah, so we have two different cells here. We have one just north of Algona, and then we have the one that was close to Blue Earth. That is traveling pretty much just south of I-90 here. So it's really interesting that some of these cells are moving due east, and some of them are moving southeast at this point in time. Looks like the ones farther to the west are moving almost due east here. So you can kind of see how they drew this polygon, right? So they drew the polygon right along the state border here of Minnesota and Iowa. That would impact areas along into the north, or along into the south of I-90 in Freeborn County. So it does look like they canceled the tornado warning.
Okay.
So that tornado warning was in effect until 7:45 here tonight, but they went ahead and they canceled it.
Yep,
so
they just canceled it.
What we'll do here for you guys in the control room is, can you put minute 30 on the clock for me, kind of talk about what we'll see the rest of the night, and then since we're at the bottom of the half hour, we'll send you back to regular scheduled programming. And then if we get some more warnings throughout the night here tonight, we will cut back into coverage here. So what we have currently is we have several different severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. We do have one just north of Steele County here, so that's into Rice County. We have Freeborn County until 8:15 here tonight. That one warned for half dollar size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. We're keeping an eye on some cells right near Buffalo Center that'll eventually move into, say, Winnebago, maybe Worth, Cerro Gordo counties. We have some strong storms right along the Mississippi River Valley, so towards Winona. We have those warnings. Those were issued until 7:45 here tonight. And then we have the newest warning into Fillmore and into Mower counties here tonight. For the time being, no tornadic activity. We did have that confirmed tornado reaching down to the ground from emergency managers from Olmsted County, right near about Dodge Center in Hayfield here tonight. But right now it looks like everything's heading in the right direction. I mean, that can change, but just looking at velocity, I don't see any real tight couplets at this point in time. So that would give me a good indication that we can send you back to regular scheduled programming, and we can hop off air here for the time being. So what we'll do now, guys, in the control room, we'll head back to regular scheduled programming. Again, we will cut into coverage if we see the threat for any type of tornadoes, or again, just to keep you updated on the severe weather that we continue to have tonight. Thunderstorms should last until maybe close to 8 to 9 o'clock, but it looks like most of the activity now moving south of I-90. We'll send you back to regular scheduled programming.